Jim Cunningham with you here at Heinz Hall, the Pittsburgh Symphony, with a world premiere and three of the greatest musicians in the world on these chairs. And Martindale Williams, our principal cellist. We have Jake Heggie, composer of The Work at Hand, and the soloist, Jamie Barton. Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Great to have you. Now tell me the story of The Work at Hand. How did it happen? Where did it get started?
Well, quite a number of years ago, Bob Moyer approached me and offered a commission from the Pittsburgh Symphony, and he asked if I would happen to know a composer that I would want to have commissioned this work. And I had recently played out at the Orchestra Island Music Festival in Puget Sound near Seattle with Jake Heggie here, and I loved his music. I loved how he wrote idiomatically well for the cello, and of course how wonderfully he writes for the voice, and so how lyrically and beautifully he writes. And so I said, I know the person that I want, and so it took a while, but we got him here, and he brought Jamie. Which we're so thankful for.
Right. So you've just come from rehearsal. How does it sound?
Oh, it's so thrilling. I mean, they did a chamber version of this for Jamie's Carnegie Hall recital in February.
With piano.
With piano. They did a chamber version of it. And I wasn't able to be there because I had the flu. So,
we were rudderless. And we actually rehearsed by Skype.
We did.
It's true.
We rehearsed by Skype. I listened to it by Skype. So it was my first time really hearing the piece, which was just thrilling. And the conductor, Michael Francis, and the orchestra sounds great. And then Anne and Jamie together, it's really almost like sisters. But they read each other so clearly, and there's so much back and forth. And again, the whole reason that there's a cello and a voice is one can say things that the other cannot. These two are of one mind and one spirit. So hearing it I just lifted right out of my chair, and I think there's still bump marks on the ceiling of Heinz Hall, because I was just really thrilled. The orchestra is so gorgeous, and Anne and Jamie are so wonderful together. It was a thrill.
Jamie, I want to ask you about the words, but first, what about the notes? Is he a fiend? What do you write for you on the page?
He's fantastic. It's like he knew my voice and knew what I could do well, and really just emphasized it. Mark of a great composer here.
And the text, you got to tell me the story of these amazing words. That you knew the author of these words.
I knew the author of these words. Her name was Laura Moorfield. She's the daughter of a wonderful poet who I've said many times. His name is Charlene Baldridge, and Charlene will be there at the performances. And I had only known Laura in context to her mother. I didn't know she was a poet until after she was diagnosed with cancer, a very advanced cancer, in 2009. And she started writing this magnificent, powerful, poignant, illuminating, shattering poetry. And I asked her if she'd send some to me with her favorite on top. And she sent me a stack, and on top was The Work at Hand. And boy, did she know me. The minute I read it, I got this shiver. That's how I know it's right for me to set something, as I get a musical shiver. And I could hear music. I didn't know what it was. And then when Anne contacted me about a piece for her, and then Jamie contacted me about a piece for her, and I thought, well, let's combine them, and make it even broader. And it seemed just the right thing. And so the poem is really about the confronting something that is, well, it's about saying goodbye, basically, letting go, learning to let go. And that is the work at hand, is being presented with, okay, I have this illness, I have this disease, how do I move forward? And she wrote this magnificent, scintillating poetry. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that, Jamie.
Yeah, one of my favorite aspects of this group of poems is how much it celebrates life in the face of death. I've read through a lot of her poetry. Charlene gave me some books of hers, and it's been wonderful to do that. But this one really, really spoke to me. I believe I remember calling you crying when I sat down to play through it the first time. It's unbelievably gorgeous. My favorite movement, perhaps, is the third portion of it, and it really is just talking about these little things that we take for granted in life, the sunlight, the wind, these things that all she wants to do is to experience life. And to me, it is a real celebration of life.